In this video, I'm going to tell you how to choose the best location for an HMO investment, and I'm going to reveal a simple step-by-step procedure that you can use right now to find the very best and most profitable places to set up a new HMO. Hi, my name's Mark Lloyd. I'm co-founder of Property Master Academy, and I've been a property investor since 2005. There's absolutely no doubt about it. An HMO, or house in multiple occupation, can be a fantastic type of property investment. HMOs can offer great cash flow and impressive yields too. Yields from an HMO can be double or even up to 4 times that of a single family let. But this is very important to know. An HMO will not work everywhere. And if you want to make the best returns from an HMO, you need to choose the very best location for it. So here's exactly how to find the best locations. At the end of the day, choosing the best place for an HMO is just like many other businesses, very much about supply and demand. For a successful HMO, you obviously need good demand from would-be tenants. And you also need a supply of property which can be viably turned into HMOs. So firstly, let's look at the demand side of the equation. When thinking about demand, there are several different types of HMO to consider, each with their own type of demand. So for example, student HMOs. Now these are one of the most popular types of HMO available. Obviously, you need to be near a university for this type of demand to exist. Now just because there is a university in town does not necessarily mean there is a need for more HMOs, but is a good starting point. What about professional HMOs? Well, these types of HMOs appeal to young working professionals. Cities and large towns where there are likely to be large professional employers are the best locations for a professional HMO. And contractors, or what might sometimes be referred to as blue-collar HMOs. Now these appeal to contractors in the construction industry primarily. They work best in places where there is a lot of building work going on, such as a major city, or perhaps a large infrastructure project. For example, the new Hinkley Point nuclear power station in Somerset and the HS2 high-speed rail project have created a high demand for this type of accommodation. HMOs providing accommodation for people on benefits. Now, there's a huge demand for these HMOs in many places. However, they only tend to be located in areas with cheaper property. This is because there is a limit on the amount of rent benefits will cover. There are 2 ways to look at demand. You can either look at your area and see which type of HMO there is likely to be most demand for, or you can decide what type of HMO you want to set up and look for a location where demand is highest. So what are some of the ways you can check what demand there is for an HMO? Well, firstly, speak to local estate and letting agents. Now, many agents don't actually handle HMOs, but they will very often know if there's demand in the local market. Simply ask them, if I buy a house from you and turn it into an HMO, do you think there will be a demand for the rooms? For a university, speak to the accommodation office at any local university. They'll be able to tell you if there are not enough HMOs to meet student demand, or maybe if there are already too many HMOs. If there are any large companies in the area, ask them too. Large hospitals, for example, often help their staff to find accommodation, so they will know if there is a demand or not. Check with the local council. Get in touch with their housing advice department or similar. Now they mainly work to help people who have difficulty finding housing, but they sometimes give advice to landlords who are looking to provide more shared housing. Visit the Spare Room website. Now, Spare Room is an advertising site for renting out rooms either in private homes or HMOs. Track a few of the adverts on there for HMO rooms. If the ads disappear after a week or so, indicating that the room has been taken, this could suggest local demand is strong. Spare Room will also give you an idea of what local room rents are. And here's a little HMO secret I should let you know about. If there are already lots of HMOs in a particular area, that usually means there is a good demand for them. So although this seems the wrong way round, a location that already has many HMOs is often a better location for a new one than somewhere that has absolutely nothing at all. Now let's take a look at the supply side. Obviously, to set up an HMO, you need a property to create one in the first place. So firstly, find out if there is a supply of houses in the area which you could turn into an HMO. Jump onto Rightmove or Zoopla and take a look. Also make a note of the local prices. You could also consider a commercial conversion. So look if there are any empty shops or office buildings that might convert into an HMO. Next, you need to check what your local council's policy on the creation of more HMOs is. You can find out from their website if the council has what is known as an Article 4 direction in place for HMOs, then you will need planning permission to create a new HMO. Now, this can be difficult to obtain in an Article 4 area, though oddly enough, places with Article 4 directions in place usually have lots of HMOs and plenty of demand for them. By the way, this is also a good time to check HMO licence details and costs for that particular council area. And finally, you need to see if the numbers add up in that location. To do this, find out the typical cost of a house suitable for an HMO in that area and the room rents you're likely to be able to get. Then calculate the possible yield. Now you can calculate a simple gross yield by dividing the total annual room rents by the cost of a suitable property and multiplying that by 100 to find a percentage. So for example, let's assume a 6-bedroom house in your area costs about £1 million. And let's assume each room will rent for £100 a week. That's £31,200 a year if you can get full occupancy. Now that works out as a yield around about 3.1%. Not too good at all. In fact, a single family buy-to-let should get you more. Now let's assume a 6-bedroom house in your area costs £400,000, but likely room rents are £130 a week or just over £40,000 a year. Then your yield would be just over 10%. And that's pretty good and in line with what you can expect from an HMO and possibly more. It means that this location could be a very good place to invest in HMOs. I should finish by saying that any property investment involves a level of risk. There is no guarantee that an HMO will be a success until it's up and running. But I hope these tips will help you home in on the very best locations for an HMO investment. I hope you found this video useful, and if you have, then please hit that like button below so that others just like you will get to see it, and also subscribe to our channel so you get notified of other videos that we post each week. Appearing on your screen right now will also be more videos that will help you in your property business. Thanks for listening.